Hi everybody, welcome back to Time with Tata. My name is Lori and it is that time of year. If you are anything like me, you get really excited for planner season. You buy all the goods, sometime between July and October, and then you wait. So I am not someone who can move in too soon. I like to wait until the very end of the year to know exactly what is working for me and what is not working for me. What I'm going to do is put timestamps below, because in this video, I'm going to explain the planner that I'm leaving behind after using it for 2 or 3 years, what I'm moving into, things that I've struggled with, notebooks that I use as a little side thing. It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll be talking about Hobonichi Cousin, Hobonichi HON, Hobonichi Weeks, sterling ink planners, traveler's notebooks, and a couple of other things. So be sure to stay tuned. Check out the timestamps if you want to skip around. And if you're interested in content about fountain pens, journaling, and planning, be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the like button if you're having a good time. So let's jump right into it. So first, let's talk about what's working with my system, because there's a lot that is going pretty smoothly. My morning pages, a ritual that I started last January for the first time ever. I started writing every day and I filled up 4 books. And I love this system. This isn't going anywhere. There's a lot of private thoughts in here, kind of like a diary situation. But I also use all of my pens in these notebooks, which is pretty fun. And I've tried a couple different notebooks. I think the Rhodia and the Archer and Olive. This paper was, I would say, too thick. This paper, I just didn't like. It felt like there was like a little coating on top, and it wasn't my favorite. I actually stopped in this notebook because I had that much left and I was just kind of done with it. But the art of writing every single day and using different inks works the best. My favorite notebook is currently the Leutram 1917. This book is the one that I plan on heading into in the new year. This was a blue one that I filled up, and I kind of marked it Morning Pages Volume 1, and then I didn't continue marking them. But this is what I started the year with. So it went January 1st to March of 2023. I wrote a lot during this time, but this is also like free therapy. I say it all the time. I 100% plan to continue with my morning pages. And the only rule I have for morning pages is that there are no rules. I use any ink I want. Sometimes I will use multiple colors in a day. Right now I'm trying to finish this year and I only have a few pages left. So like one day I wrote 2 entries on a page. It just doesn't matter. Spelling doesn't matter. I do different YouTube ideas on here. One thing I do that is consistent is I write down the name of the pen, and sometimes I will write down my YouTube sub count on Lori's Boston Found. But then I'll write the pen, and usually I write the ink. But in this case, it was a new pen I got for Christmas, the Mont Blanc Glacier, and I used the same ink by the same name. This was actually a book that I revisited. This was one that I had used for some artwork and thought it might be a little bit more of an artsy book. And then I kind of stopped using it. So I decided to go back and do my morning pages because I did love this notebook so much. But definitely the Leutram 1917. That is what I am going to start the new year with. This is great because I feel like the notebook is a way that I can express myself without boundaries, without worrying about aesthetic. It's very liberating. It's a great way to get all my thoughts out first thing in the morning. I really feel like it starts my day in the right way. And sometimes I feel like I'm in a little bit of a funk. If I don't write, sometimes I write later in the day. So another system that I would say is working, but is going to be tweaked a bit, is my Hobonichi Cousin system. I am moving out of my Hobonichi Cousin and into a sterling ink V6. I'm a little nervous, but I think it's going to work out quite nicely. I would say that I was inconsistent with my weeks. I was very inconsistent with my month at a glance, something I definitely want to work on. I ended up recording pens that I purchased in here. And what you're seeing is that a little bit of my fountain pen exploration is in each of my books, and I would like to kind of condense that a little bit. So I'm going to try to move a lot of my pen talk via my notebooks and planners into one planner. So what works in here is every day, at the end of the day, I would do a reflection. So in a sense, my morning pages were for the morning, like thoughts on the day. And then my Hobonichi days were my reflections on the day. One of the things that I really like about, let me find a month that I felt like it was aesthetic. I really tried in October to be consistent and only use black ink. And I use a Tombow pen in the background as a highlighter to match the color of my Hobonichi, which I won't have that issue in the Sterling ink planner because she doesn't have dated sections in the back of her book. But what worked about this was this section, I would always kind of do a reflection on the day as it happened. Sometimes I would just repeat the date up here, which I think I'm going to like about Sterling inks because it's just blank. But it is also numbered so I can reference pages if I need to. But I kind of like doing the date as a header. Sometimes if I did something special, I would write something special like Happy Halloween or Live with Lori and Vanessa. Some milestones that I would write in. But generally, I would write a reflection of my day here. And then I would do work-life balance. I really like doing this as opposed to like times and what needs to be done. And it can kind of still be a checklist, but I like to keep these three things in mind so I'm not so work heavy and no balance, or my life is super busy and I'm not getting enough work done. Usually it's the work that I need to tame a little bit. But so this is a good example of work-life balance. So work, time with Tata Reel, finish editing Whatnot video, post a video, list 10 to 20 items. This is all for my thrifting business. We are down to 9 drafts. Okay, that's all for work related, mostly for Lori's Boston Found, with the exception of doing a reel for Time with Tata. Life, hair appointment at 9 a.m., color and cut. And then balance. Sometimes my only balance is walking lumpy or journaling in my morning pages. Sometimes I'll write that I took a bath. Those are 3 things I like to do that keep things balanced for me. And then this is a reflection of the day. What I want to do in my new book is just make this last page, just make the dailies a daily. I don't really want my to-do list there because typically I am writing this at the end of the day. So I do my morning pages in the morning as kind of like a brain dump, get all the cobwebs out from the night before, any things that I want to get done, play around with my pens, relax. But at the end of the day, I want it to look kind of aesthetic, maybe do some illustrations in here, get to use my pens and do it as a reflection. Also, I'm going to really, really try to stick to just black ink in here. This book, I want to be my aesthetic book. That page makes me happy. Where I filled everything in, the colors were consistent. Not that I don't like to explore, but on other months, my colors weren't as consistent or I missed a page. And it just, like, this feels very busy and messy to me. So I want to stick to just the black with some illustrations. So this worked for me because I was very consistent about writing, but I don't like how it looks. So I really want to keep this all black ink, very clean. This is where I'll use some of my stickers. I already started with the month of December to add some simple stickers because this started in December of 2023. Also in sterling ink, all of the pages are white. I'm not competing with the colors that Hobonichi had. Sometimes I would use pictures in here. I wasn't really good about memory keeping, and we'll talk a little bit about that. Because I found that I wasn't really using my weeks. And if I went back 2 years ago, I would say that the Hobonichi vertical layout on the weeks in the Cousin were my very favorite thing about the Hobonichi. And then this year I kind of shifted and I became more of a journaler and less of a planner, I would say. And so the weeks ended up looking kind of sparse. I have orders over here that I've placed. This sometimes I will do as a weekly to-do list. I was better about that at the beginning of the year. And then under here, these are kind of things that I want to check off. And if I have time-sensitive things, I will write them up here. So here's another week. I just draw the line divider here. Below, I have my checklist. Above, I have my times. Keep my to-do list and all of my tasks in the weeks section of my Sterling ink. That is my goal, to have all of my to-dos and my tasks kept in this section, because I really enjoy this layout and I just feel like it was painfully underutilized, and it's such a nice system. So I did get a little bit better about drawing this line and doing my checklist down here, and it kept me more engaged overall in the layout. I'll probably add a few more decorative things, again with my orders over here, some of the things that I need to get done, some life stuff here. So I still really like this layout. I just want to kind of simplify it a little bit in the new year. Not really great about using this section. I was pretty consistent about recording pen purchases and ink purchases here, which I find really helpful. And then this was like probably the only month that I really decked out. And even this is pretty simple. And then I usually fall off in my months, you can see, with February. We are traveling quite a bit this year. Hopefully I'll use my months at a glance a little bit more. But I really like this system. I just wanted something a little smaller. So this is Sterling Inks. What I like about her planner is that she has quarterly views at a glance. She also has her months here, just like in the Hobonichi, so I can write special dates down that I need, or I can use this as a tracker. And then, like I said, I did do my month at a glance. What I plan on doing is backfilling this. All right, I'm not sure where I was. My daughter just called. She needed a receipt for Apple. So regarding the new year, I would like to keep it as minimal as possible. Like I said, my pen of choice is my Pilot Vanishing Point. Because this is a smaller profile, I might even venture into my Decimo, which is a fine nib, but I really like the click feature of the Pilot Vanishing Point and the Decimo. Is that ink? More ink on me. So these will be the pens that I reach for this particular book. And then I think I'm just going to stick with this light gray color. We can even sample before. I like to sample, that's very light, but I think it will show up nice and subtle, which is what I want. And I'm going to talk about these notebooks too, because they're part of my daily practice. But let's just look down here. I think maybe I will try right at the 4. I'm just going to go along here. This is for the first week of the year, and I will extend it all the way, I think. And I always allow myself time and grace for things to change, because that's just how planning is. I do love how clean this is. So I'll probably have like my weekly to-do over here, orders over here, checklist below the line, and then time-sensitive things above the line. And that way, I think I will stay more engaged in my weeks. Also, in the Sterling Ink notebooks and planners, she has the time very, very subtle, and it's right in the margin, which actually gives you more space to work with. So when compared to the Weeks and the Hobonichi, they have the time to the side. And I know that Catherine, who is the founder of Sterling Ink, when she designed this, she kept that in mind so that the B6 would give you just almost as much space, especially with that number in the margin. So I'm hoping the size down isn't going to be much of a big deal. I very much like that light color. It just kind of blends in but stands out a little bit. So that is my plan for this. The only thing I think I'm still wavering on is if I'll do work-life balance, but I kind of just want to keep this to a daily reflection, but we'll see. But what happened with this book is in a lot of cases, I had this big space in between, and that was my own doing. I just didn't like all this space. And my margins were always kind of wonky with my daily stuff. And then some days I would just do what I did and then didn't fill in here. So yeah, I think it'll just be nice to keep this to a daily reflection. So my Hobonichi Weeks, I would consider a success this year, even though I wasn't in it as often as I would have liked. I still love the concept behind this planner, and I still think I was relatively consistent, and I really love the format and layout of this. I would write gratitude, daily gratitude over here. Again, I want to be more consistent with my pen and ink combos. I know that seems trivial, but from an aesthetic standpoint, I feel like my Hobonichis, there's a lot going on in these planners, and I think that it just looks better with just black. I got this to use as a wellness journal, and that's what I want to continue using it for. This is what the Weeks looks like on an empty page. So not much space over here. I found that it was perfect for me to just write a little sentence about gratitude. I had a week where I recorded my sleep. No, this is steps here. So I wear a Fitbit, and I just looked back on my Fitbit, and this was steps in thousands over here. And then right here, wondering if I should get a fine nib for my new Taiwan 30th anniversary Violet Vanishing Point. I just need to keep all of my pen thoughts in one book. That was very evident this year. Again, another ink sample from Yoseka. I just want to keep this exclusive to, these are all of my pens. Like, I was just all over the place. I really want to start recording what I eat, how many steps I get in a day, how many hours I slept, gratitude, water intake, all that stuff. That's what I want in the new year. If I ever get back on my Peloton, I want to start recording all of that, keep track of it. No pen talk in here whatsoever. So I am going into this beautiful olive leather Weeks for the new year, and I'm really excited about it. I'm really excited to just keep this exclusive to gratitude, health, and wellness journey, which I really need to make a focus this year. I've been using this Moterm. I'm going to move in right now. I've been using this Moterm case, and I also have this for my Hobonichi. I think these are super affordable pebble leather covers that really have worked well for me. I ended up going with B6 sizes are harder to find, and I found this one on Amazon. I purposely kept this for my B6, the 7 Felicity B6 planner, personal organizer for your life, totally handmade, 100% full grain leather, premium quality, smells of leather, soft to touch. Okay. Yeah, I can put the link for this because I really do like this. And this is what my Sterling ink book will go in, and it fits nicely. Also has like a zipper here, a little thing here, so I can put like maybe some stickers or any receipts or ephemera that I have. One thing that I've learned about myself is when the books come with the strings here, I hate it. So I cut them out of this. I cut them out of this. I just don't like them. I like, if I am going to have any page markers, I like for them to be in the book, not in my binder. So like Hobonichi comes with these. I don't mind those when they're in the planner, but I don't like them hanging from the top of here. So these are both going to be with me in the upcoming year. This is for my common planner with Sterling ink. One downside to this is it only has one snap. One of the things I love about Moterms is if you have like a chunky book going, you have an option to snap it here, but it still covers the snap. I don't tend to have super chunky books, I think because I work in a couple books, but I love this system. So in the back part of this is an ink journal that I just put in here because it fit. And this was also from Sterling Ink. This was from like her seconds shop. in 2022, there's David from Schitt's Creek. I need a quote here about ink or something. I bought this sticker when I was in Brooklyn, and I thought it was a fun place for it. So I need a quote for him. But over here, I will do an ink sample, and I'll write the ink and then the pen. So this is specific to pen and ink combinations. And sometimes if I did the ink sample, I would do the ink sample, but I didn't have a pen that it was in, I would leave it blank. And then when I go back and have a pen, I will write my thoughts on it. So most recently, my mom bought me a little red Kaweco for Christmas that I really love. Whenever anybody says, you have so many pens and I don't know what to get you, I'm like, you're pretty safe getting me a Kaweco. And I'll show them the colors I have because I think they're affordable and fun. So my mom got me that. And then this is tinsel ink from the Diamine Ink Vent calendar. And this just shows how that ink works in this pen. And that's what I'm using this journal for. So it's not just for swatches. This, my daughter got me a pen and personalized it. Where is that? Which I thought was so sweet. She ordered this off of Etsy, and she put Lori's Boston Found, which is my my other YouTube channel and my thrifting business. And I put Inkvent 23 Raise a Glass. This was day number 25, and it works really nice in this pen. I don't know. I need to get the name of this pen, the brand. This is not an expensive pen, but I love the personalization, and it's actually a beautiful writer. So I like this because I can go back and see my thoughts on a specific combo, and it just works in here. I don't necessarily have to keep this in here, but it works, so I keep that together. I'm not going to spend too much time talking about my Louis Vuitton because I'm not really in rings anymore, but this book in particular has made the cut every year. I also have this in the personal size and in the mini size. So this is the GM size. I also have the MM and the PM size. I definitely favor this larger size the most. I was really into rings a few years ago. And then once I discovered Hobonichi, I just haven't really been in this, but I still love this. The thing that is beautiful about this, like this, I can get rid of. This is YouTube growth. And I stopped even filling out my progress here because I was tracking things in my journal. So the beautiful thing about rings is you can just take things out and it's like starting new. Returns, problems. Oh, this is from my other business. But yeah, I can take things out and then it's like a brand new thing. Schedule. These are from February. This is the last time I was in here. So what I love about my rings is that I can just rip a couple pages out and then I get a clean slate look. I also love that these are undated. Sometimes I will come into this binder if I really need to focus and just like get things done to do a week at a glance. Sometimes I will use these sheets if I'm really feeling like I need to just focus and do a ton of notes. But as you can see, I didn't really use this. I used it in October one day, and I kind of pull them out as I go. And I have a couple different formats for that. On this list section right here, hold on, I have all of my passwords. This is super important to me, and I use this all the time. Anytime we need password updates, I refer to that. The other section that I use is the project management tab here. I have it tabbed as brands. So these are regarding my other channel, but they're all brands that I've worked with. So basically people who have sponsored some of my content on the other channel, and then I write when the video went live, when the video went live, when it was approved, you know, how much money the deal was, who my contact person is. So I try to keep good notes. And then when I meet with a brand, I know who my contact person is. I know what we discussed the last time we talked. I know what my rate was, if my rate's going to increase, whatever. So this is nice. So this I guess, is more just like business. And it stays on my desk. It's easy to clean out stuff. And then it's like brand new for the new year. If I have to update the password, I'll do that. But I'm not really into rings anymore. This is more of like a reference binder that just stays on my desk. And I do refer to it quite a bit, but doesn't leave the house. These are the notebooks that I want to mention. And I wish I could give credit to the viewer who recommended these. I got 3 notebooks for $13 and change. These are a part of my everyday existence with my pens. I will just write things out. These were all of my Leonardo pens. I'm just having fun here. They just have a clear cover. You can also get them with a pastel color cover, but I like the clear. These are all the ink pen colors from this year. This is where I just kept them just for fun. Anytime I just want to jot down notes, I will write stuff down like this. I just got my new pen, my Sailor Pro Gear Slim, write some notes. And then when I'm done with this page, I will just rip it out. Like this is not anything I need to keep. Oh, call with Apple, December 5th. This is me just like writing down notes. And then I get rid of this. And this doesn't clutter up my daily planners. I like just having a notebook that is fountain pen friendly. These cost about $4 and change each. I don't worry that it's Tomoe River paper and it's super expensive. It holds the ink really well. I don't get any feathering. I just really like these notebooks. So I will definitely link all of this stuff below. I do have an Amazon storefront. I'll receive a very small commission, so thank you so much if you use my link to Amazon and Atlas Stationery as well. You can get 10% off your purchase for most things at Atlas if you use my code, so thank you for that too. This isn't planner oriented, but just part of my daily life. Okay, so last up, we can talk about the Hobonichi HON. This is my first time using this. It's an A6 size. So I'm a little nervous about this, but I'm very excited because as you saw with the other planners, there was so much of my fountain pens that spilled over into those notebooks. The truth of the matter is I use a fountain pen in all of those notebooks, so that's not going to change. But I really just wanted a place that I can reference all of my ink exploration in one book. That's not to say that I'm not going to continue with my ink journal over here, because I am. I'm also planning on really honing in on similar inks this year, so I can see, like, I'll have a couple of pages for my brown inks and my red and blue inks. I want to start seeing my inks side by side so I can see what I have and how inks compare to one another. I also have my color ring, and I will continue to use this. In fact, I think what I'm going to do with this is put these in order according to color families, and then that will probably help me when I transfer some of the ink over into this book. So I'm still going to be exploring ink on other notebooks and tracking purchases I make and ink that I'm using. But as far as just a day-to-day, I really am looking forward to using this. Here's December of 2023. I got 3 new pens for Christmas. And then today I placed an order, this is December 26th, at Atlas, because they were having a 50% off sale, their last chance section. And I ordered my first talisman. I can't even remember the model I got, but I think it's like turquoise and black. It was very pretty, and I've been wanting to try a talisman. I have 3 Euphorias, and that was 50% off. So I want to record what I bought. So I wrote that there. But then on this page, this is the month at a glance, I can get a little bit more specific. That I got the Mont Blanc Glacier pen, Kaweco Red, and then the custom pen from Ange, the one that I don't know the name of. I have to go back. And then order at Atlas Talisman. I have to go back and do a little bit more detail here. I can't write anything yet because even though I have the month at a glance for December, the actual calendar doesn't start until January 1st. I just want to write my pen thoughts over here. Any pens that I'm buying or selling, that sort of thing. I can reference back like, oh, okay, well, on February 3rd, I was using this pen and I didn't like that ink combo, so maybe I'll choose something else. You know, even my currently inked, I will sometimes keep that in this book. So here's currently inked for February, but I didn't do that every month. Let me see if I did it in October. But I want to keep all this stuff in one notebook. So you get the idea. I'm still not completely sure how this is going to look. Maybe currently inked I could do in the calendar months. Wouldn't that be kind of fun? Like just do the colors that I'm using in months. I don't know. I'm going to get creative with this. Then I do have some blank pages in the back. It's my first year using a HON. This is going to be mostly for ink and having fun with it, using this as like a reference book for ink. I feel like I need to address the elephant in the room that are my traveler's notebooks. I had such high hopes for my traveler's notebooks. I bought this when I was in Tokyo, and my intention was to use these books for memory keeping. And I started to do some memory keeping in here. And I actually even went through and wrote down, transferred over here, things that happened every day when I was in Tokyo. And this was such a very special trip that I want to do better. But, you know, I was in Tokyo at the end of August, and I haven't managed to get into my traveler's notebook. But I wish I had done more. I did not buy the dated calendar for this year. My husband had bought these for me as a gift when he went to Japan, December of 2022. And it was split January to June and then July to December. And the first calendar book, the first half of the year, I used for all my dad's doctor's appointments. And then the second half of the year was, you know, I just tossed it in here and I wasn't as consistent. This is the sticker release page. This is all my memory stuff. I pulled some paper from just a paper stash I had from when I was a creative memories consultant. But I have to say, I feel like I'm a little bit of a failure with my traveler's notebooks and memory keeping. So one of my goals this year is to print out more photos and do more memory keeping in my traveler's notebooks because I have so many supplies. If you saw any of my videos from Japan, I went crazy at the traveler's company at all the different stops, and I have so many beautiful books and charms and clips and inserts, and I absolutely love the feel of these books, and I just need to make time to be in here. This is like a whole different beast. I feel like this is washi tape, it's stickers and train tickets and coffee shops, and I romanticize how I want things to be in my traveler's notebooks, and then I never really get to it because I want them to be so perfect. So I need to work on this in 2024, not buy anything because I have so much for traveler's notebooks, and just make it more functional for me. That is my lineup. Those are my thoughts on last year. I'm moving out of the Hobonichi Cousin and into Sterling Ink's Common Planner B6. This will be kind of my main planner. Going to do my little line down the middle, checklist down here, my daily reflections at the back of the book. And also if I miss a day, it's not the biggest deal because the dates aren't here. I think I'll feel less pressure and have more fun with that. Although I really enjoy writing, that wasn't so hard for me to keep up with. I am staying in Weeks and going to continue to use this as a wellness journal, focusing on gratitude entries, steps, water intake, sleep, and potential exercise goals. This is my ink journal for specific pen and inks. My morning pages are going to be in my Leuchtturm 1917, and this will probably take me through March or April. Some months I'm writing more than others, depending on what's going on in my life. I will use my little fountain pen friendly, inexpensive notebooks to just jot down little things, phone conversations, doodle, scribble, that sort of thing that I don't have to worry about. I will keep my Louis Vuitton GM planner just for reference and passwords and brand deals. And if I ever need to hyper focus on a week, I have those undated weeks at a glance that I can use there. Lastly is the introduction to the Hobonichi HON notebook that I plan to use for my ink exploration purchases, sales, what works, what doesn't work. And I'm going to try to stay date specific on this so I can see what I'm using at different times of the year. And then maybe, just maybe, I will dig into my traveler's notebooks for some memory keeping. So big planner stack here. I realize that, but I really enjoy this. If I had to pick just two of all of these, I would pick my morning pages and my sterling ink. I feel like these are the books that I am in the most, and probably one of these notebooks for just scribbles. I'm hoping that everything is going to be well utilized this year. Really looking forward to the ink journal and just getting to know myself a little bit better with what works for me. But I hope this was helpful to see kind of my thoughts, where I'm going, and the decisions for what I'm leaving behind and what I'm moving into. Thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to let me know in the comments what your plan is for the year. Do you have one plan? Do you have a planner stack? Are you overwhelmed by too many planners? Totally understand if you are. I see a lot of people going from, the stack of planners, and then in 2 years they say, it's too much, I'm going back to one planner. And you just have to find what works for you and lean into it. This is your day-to-day, and this is my piece, journaling, exploring with pens. So this brings me a lot of happiness. I'm happy to share it with you. I hope you're all having a wonderful close to 2023, and I look forward to lots of planning and pens with you in the new year. Thank you guys so much for watching.